Hello, my name is Saffy and I'm an amateur tarot reader on a journey to learn and practice more about tarot. And if you're like me, you dream about being a professional tarot reader one day, or at least a confident one who can do great readings for your friends and family without getting stuck or losing confidence. But right now you know that your knowledge isn't deep enough to start reading for other people properly. And so I was thinking, how can I boost up my tarot reading skills? And I considered making pick a card videos on YouTube as a way to practice, but I decided it would be unethical to do so. And this was made clear to me when I suddenly saw a quote on Instagram that today, actually, or maybe yesterday, that said, "People shouldn't have to pay for your learning process." And the post was talking about people charging $1,000 for a custom-made prom dress, which was poorly made, and frankly, it was ugly as hell. They had some pictures. But I think the idea stands with tarot as well, especially since, many people use tarot as a guidance for their life choices. So ethically, I don't feel comfortable enough to do general readings for people on YouTube when I'm not even confident in reading for myself yet. I don't want to be responsible for other people's choices. I don't want to mislead anyone. So, and I'm also terrible at studying using books and taking notes. So I've decided to make some YouTube videos to give myself a more interesting way to research and learn about tarot. And so hopefully by making these videos, they'll give me an excuse to research more, practice more, and just have fun with it. And also I'll be able to check these videos in the future if I forget things. And they may also be useful for other people like you maybe who are learning to read tarot yourself. Because, the best way to learn something is to teach it. This is a quote by the philosopher called Seneca, I think is the pronunciation. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So anyway, welcome to my first video. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you can learn along with me. So today I want to practice a simple 3-card tarot spread with clarifiers, and I chose this one just randomly because I saw a video about this spread by the Tarot Shop UK, whose channel I just found today actually, and I'll link her video with her original tutorial below so you can check it out. And in her spread, she explained the different positions of the cards and did a couple of practice readings to show how to interpret the cards in the reading. So I'm going to do the same. I'll explain to you the card positions, and I'm also going to choose a few pretend situations to read for. I'm not reading for anyone, like for a real person. This is just for fun, just to practice. And I'll shuffle the cards, I'll lay them out in the spread, and then I'll try to interpret them accordingly. Obviously, I'm still learning, so this is just for practice. And if you have any different interpretations than what I've said, please leave them in the comments below. So the 3 card positions are the current situation. Let me just see if that's in the right place on my screen. Yeah, the current situation, the obstacles to the situation, or the obstacles you're facing, and the likely outcome. And I'm also going to change one thing from, hold on a second, lost my notes here. Where am I? I'm also going to change one thing from the Tarot Shop UK's video. She did just the 3 cards. She also put clarifiers, which I'll talk about in a second. I'm going to also add another card at the end to give us some advice about how to move forward in the situation. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm not going to pick a card from the deck. I'm going to use the quintessence of the first 3 cards. And the quintessence is basically the card that you get when you reduce all the numbers of the first 3 cards into a single number and then relate it to one of the major arcana. And doing this can help us add a deeper level of meaning to the reading and summarize the reading with a positive idea of the energy that you need to resolve the situation. So it's a nice way to kind of wrap up the reading. So those are the card positions. And as I said, I'll also add a secondary card to each position as a clarifier, and just to give us some more context and meaning for each position. So now I just need a pretend situation to read for. I'm not great at imagining situations off the cuff, so I've employed ChatGPT to give us 3 situations, our trusty companion ChatGPT. If you've never used ChatGPT before for tarot practice, you should. It's really great. I've used it for some different things, like getting some pretend situations, or asking for keywords on the cards, or asking for questions to ask, spreads to try, things like that. If you've tried using ChatGPT for reading tarot or practicing tarot, let me know in the comments how you used it, because I'm really curious, with this new technology and how we can use it for so many different interests and hobbies. So anyway, I've got 3 situations from ChatGPT, and I'm going to do all 3 of them in this video. So the first one, let me get it up on my screen. So what I asked ChatGPT was, I asked ChatGPT, can you give me 3 pretend clients who want a tarot reading? What is their background, problem, and question? For example, John is a retired maths teacher who is bored and doesn't know how to spend his free time now that he's not working anymore. He wants to know about what kind of hobbies he could take up. I was quite proud of that, actually. I did manage to come up with something by myself. But anyway, then ChatGPT said, of course, here are 3 pretend clients with their backgrounds, problems, and questions. So the first one is Emily. ChatGPT says, Emily is a 30-year-old marketing executive who has been feeling stuck in her career lately. She's been experiencing burnout and lacks motivation at work. She wants to know if there are any changes she should consider making in her career path to find fulfillment and regain her passion for her work. Okay, so let's shuffle the cards first of all. Please excuse me if I drop any. That's another reason why I have to practice still, because, do you find that tarot cards, a lot of them are made so big, and I've got tiny hands, so it's quite difficult to hold them all. And I'll get cards jumping out and falling out, and I'll think, is that a real jumper, or is that just because I'm really clumsy and I can't hold the cards properly? I did buy some pocket ones, pocket size, which are great, but like this, you see, was that my fault or was that the cards? What do you think? Let me know. I'm going to put it back though. Anyway, I like these cards better because I like the back better actually, and also obviously the pictures are bigger, so they're more interesting and detailed. Okay, so I'm going to cut the deck, and the way I cut the deck, I like to do it this way. Cut it in half, and then cut each one in half again, like this. And then I like to turn around one of them to make sure there's some reversals in there, and then put them back like this, and then like this, and shuffle the deck another couple of times, just until I feel like it's right, How do you shuffle? What's your technique? Okay, you see another one, was that me, or is that the tarot speaking to me? Anyway, okay, here we go. So let's lay our cards out. So position 1, so that is going to be the current situation. Position 2, the obstacle. Position 3, the outcome. And we're also going to put the clarifiers for each one, just like that. And I'll put the rest of them up here. Okay, are they on the screen? Let me pull that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's remind ourselves, Emily is a 30-year-old marketing executive who has been feeling stuck in her career lately. She's been experiencing burnout and lacks motivation at work. She wants to know if there are any changes she should consider making in her career path to find fulfillment and regain her passion for her work. So let's take a look. The first couple of cards. Okay. Next. And next. Oh, that one fell out and it's actually popped back up again. That's interesting. Okay. So this is the problem I often have. Sometimes you turn the cards over and immediately it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know what that means. And then other times you turn them over and it's like, I have to think about this. And this is why I'm not a confident tarot reader yet, because I need some time to get it sometimes, Okay, so let's think about this. So this is the current situation. Okay, so we have the 4 of Wands and we have the Knight of Wands. So ones are about like your passion, your calling in life, something like that. She's feeling burnout and she lacks motivation at work. So this is the current situation. So what could that mean? Let me think about this. So just from looking at the cards, I would say that she's feeling burnout because maybe she's been having to organize a lot of events at work. Like she's a marketing executive, so maybe she's had to organize a lot of like campaigns. Like this card kind of feels like, you know, it's like a celebration, a campaign, something like that. And the Knight of Wands suggests that it's not finished yet, you know, it's not in the final stage. She's been taking a lot of action, and she's been like kind of charging into things, but she's feeling burned out. Even like his you know, on his headdress here, it kind of looks like flames. So maybe it's just that she's like thrown herself into all of this work and this organization and used up all of her energy, and yeah, that's why she's burned out. And then so the second position is the obstacles that she's facing. So that's interesting. We have the High Priestess and we have the Seven of Pentacles. So the sense that I'm getting from it is the obstacles could be maybe a problem with a higher up, like a boss, like expecting her to work really hard. Or maybe it's a problem with her own high standards. And, you know, maybe she's like, she really wants to do well because she wants to earn more money, or she wants to get a promotion. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe she wants to work really hard because she wants to see the results of her hard work, and she wants to reach kind of the pinnacle of the situation. And so that's like what's kind of stopping her. Like it's stopping her from moving past the situation because she's really focused on moving up in her company, and so she feels like she has no other option except to throw herself into her work, and like that's resulted in the burnout. So that's the obstacle I'm seeing. And then the likely outcome, we have the World and we have the Devil. I mean, the World often represents the end of a cycle. Something is like coming to completion, looking back into the past. So maybe that means if she continues this way, it's going to end in one way or another because she can't keep going. She can't continue in the way she is without experiencing, like without things coming crashing down, basically. So like something's got to give, that's what I mean. Like something's got to come to an end, something has got to complete in the cycle because it's not sustainable. She can't keep going like this. And the Devil, to me it's like if she continues down this path, she's going to end up in some kind of addiction. Like when you feel really burned out at work, you often do things to help you cope. Like maybe you start drinking more alcohol, or you smoke more, or you know, you can fall into some kind of unhealthy habits as a coping mechanism. So maybe that's what the potential result would be for her. So, okay, so just to sum it up, the current situation, she's had to organize a lot of stuff at work, maybe some events or marketing campaigns. She's thrown herself into her work, and, you know, that's the reason why she's feeling so burned out. And the obstacle is, I would say, her own internal self is the obstacle. That she has very high standards. She really wants to move up the chain. She wants to earn more money. She wants to get a promotion. So she feels she has to keep going this way. She doesn't want to she doesn't want to quit, because then she's not going to see the fruits of her labor, you know, like she's worked so hard to build what she's done that she feels that she can't quit now, right? And the likely outcome is that something's going to come to an end. It's either going to be she quits the job, or she's going to fall into some like, you know, have some kind of breakdown, or, you know, something's going to end, and that could result in some kind of addictive behaviors and unhealthy coping mechanisms. Okay, so now let's get the advice, like how she can move past the situation. So like I said, I'm going to do the quintessence of the card, and that's going to be reducing the first 3 cards, because they're like the important ones. These are the clarifiers. So reducing the first 3 cards to their like base number, would you call it, I guess. Okay, so we have 4, 2, and 21. I also, by the way, do you like get confused with reading Roman numerals? Like, you know, with the, obviously with the lower numbers like 2, I'm like, yeah, I can handle that. Like, okay, 4, yeah, okay, I can, it's 5 minus 1, I can handle that. 10, 10, 1, okay, 21. But like when you get cards like the moon or the star, and it's like X's and 1s and oh my gosh, I can't, like, sometimes my brain just can't cope with that. I like, they're very pretty, but I wish it was just a normal number. But anyway, does anyone else have that problem? Okay, so what do we have? We have 4, 2, and 21. So 21, 22, 23, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So that's 27. So then we do 2 plus 7. That's 9. Okay, so 9 is the Hermit. So let's find the good old Hermit in here. I may skip forward this part. The Hermit. Where are you? And immediately that makes sense. Like, you know, internal reflection is the kind of, oh, here he is. So here we go, we have the Hermit. You see him over there? Yeah, if I move things up. Yeah. So the Hermit is kind of like saying that, well, she wants to know if there are any changes she should consider making in her career path to find fulfillment and regain her passion for her work. And basically, the Hermit is saying that, in my mind, he's saying that first of all, she has to basically reflect on what's important to her. Like, she has the answers inside herself, and if she does some reflection, she may find that the answers are already there, and she already knows what she has to do, which may be scaling back the work, working less hours, you know, switching to a different job. But she already knows at this point that she can't continue this way, because otherwise she wouldn't be here having a reading, right? And also the Hermit, you know, he's kind of like, he's holding his own light, he's lighting his own way. And to me, it's almost like you have to look within, and you have to really focus and introspect on what you care about and what brings you joy and what makes you feel passionate about life. And obviously I can't answer that as a tarot reader. I don't know what that spark in her heart is. Only she can know that, and so she has to find the answers within herself. But if she wants to regain the passion for her work, it could also be that she, like, potentially maybe just has to change her mindset. You know, with the Hermit, maybe just approaching her work with a different energy. Like, instead of throwing herself into it, like, instead of being the Knight and throwing herself into her work and burning out, maybe she just has to approach it in a more, like, calm and steady way. So yeah, I don't know, that's what I would say for this reading. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. How would you have interpreted these cards? Would you have interpreted it differently from me? Do you agree with what I've said? I found this one quite hard, actually, because, like I said, sometimes the answers just scream out, And sometimes it's like, this is not really clear. I don't really understand what the cards are saying to me. And this is why I'm making this video, because I want to practice. So that's what I got from these cards. It wasn't a super good one for me. It wasn't that clear, but it was some practice. Okay, so we're going to do the next one. Let me take a sip of water. Cheers. Okay, so the next situation from ChatGPT is, okay, we have someone called Peter. Peter is a 45-year-old single father of 2 teenage children. He recently went through a divorce and has been struggling to adjust to his new life as a single parent. He's feeling overwhelmed with balancing work, parenting, and personal life. Peter wants guidance on how to find balance, manage stress, and create a harmonious family dynamic during this challenging time. Okay, so let's do it. You see, here we are again. Just yeeting the cards all over the place. That's not what we want. We want to look professional. We want to look like we have actually held a deck of tarot cards before. This is not the first time that I've shuffled a deck, although it certainly looks that way. Okay, so here we go. So Peter, teenage children, how to find balance, how to manage stress. Maybe if I focus my energy more on the cards and with the question in my mind, like for the first reading, I was kind of talking to you and like not really putting the energy in there. Maybe if I do that, we'll get a better set of cards with a clearer meaning. Okay, so let me think about this. Okay, so Peter, tell me about Peter and his teenage children, being a single parent, how to find balance, how to create a harmonious family dynamic. Okay, I won't cut the cards like shuffling them because I've already done that. So, okay, let's see. So Peter, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so can you see? Yeah, you can. Oh, by the way, sorry for this like disgusting looking thing over here. That's because I was making a friendship bracelet and I stuck it to my desk with sellotape. And since I did that, every time I clean it, it looks clean, and then 2 seconds later it's stuck all over with fluff again and dust. So anyway, it's nothing disgusting. It's just a bit of fluff. Okay, so Peter, let's see the current situation. Okay. That's kind of clearer than the last one immediately. To me, it looks like he's had some very like swift changes in his life, you know, rapid movement, big kind of upheaval. And here, I mean, that's quite clear, right? Like, that's him and his 2 teenage children. And, oh, sorry, that's, can you even see what I'm doing? See, this is why I have to make more videos so I know, like, you know, I'm just practicing. I have never made a YouTube video like this before. Anyway, so that's Peter and his 2 teenage children, and obviously very unharmonious at the moment, possibly a lot of fighting going on. There's a lot of resentment, a lot of hurt. Everyone is really sad and grieving and upset after all of this, like, terrible situation in their family. So that makes sense. And also the way I am currently interpreting reversals are as inner energy. So a reversal is internal feelings and upright is like external environment. So this came out as internal. So this is like in the external environment, a lot of swift movement and rapid change. And internally, everyone's, I mean, obviously people are not physically fighting each other, but internally everyone's feeling very like they've just fought a battle basically, but it's more of an internal feeling. Okay, so then next we have the obstacle. So let's see. Yeah, that was in it. It was he's overwhelmed with balancing work and parenting. There you go. This is really clear this time, isn't it? So inside he's feeling totally burdened, maybe he's spending too much time at work, but it's more internal. So maybe it's not that he is actually working too much, but it's just internally he's feeling very overburdened with everything right now, with work and family, and also like wondering how to take care of his 2 children. So here they are again, 2 children. This is another thing I love, when the tarot like cards come out and they're really clear. You can see all of these like, what's the word, like synchronicities between the cards, that you can read them almost in quite a literal way. You can see the story, like 2 children, you know. And maybe here, like another obstacle is that his 2 children may be kind of like teaming up together, like his 2 children are kind of a force together and maybe against him or against their mother. So feeling some, you know, when kids kind of turn against their parents a little bit, because like you could say that that's him in the background, like feeling a little bit distant from his children, a bit outside of their situation. He doesn't really know how to relate to them anymore, how to be with them. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then, God, I'm getting out of breath from like talking so much. And then, what's the last thing? Position? The likely outcome. Okay, let's see the likely outcome. Oh, well, that's nice. So it seems like the likely outcome. Well, so the Queen of Swords, to me, she represents like mental clarity. As her energy is mental clarity. But, you know, as a person in this reading, she could represent the mother, potentially, like, maybe the mother, or maybe a new partner, but I don't think so, because he's recently divorced, so I don't think he's going to be meeting a new person, like, anytime soon. Maybe this represents the mother, like, you know, and especially with this card as well, like this is all basically kind of happy families, like, you know, with the, and here we have the 2 children and the father, the 2 children and the father, and here we have both parents and the 2 children. So maybe this is saying that the likely outcome is that, you know, everything's going to kind of balance, and also maybe his ex-wife is going to be an important player in establishing some balance for everyone, even if they're divorced. Like if they have like a kind of civilized relationship, even though things are different, they can still have a good family dynamic if they, you know, if they have joint custody of the children, for example, and if they treat each other with respect and dignity, it may help everyone to kind of navigate through this difficult situation. So that's how I see things with this. So let's talk about the quintessence. So we've got 8, 10, and then Queen of Swords, like for quintessence. Sometimes I've done like counting the court cards as like 1, 2, 3, 4, like page, knight, queen, king. So she would be a 3, but I think right now I prefer just only using cards that actually have a number. So we have the 10 and the 8, so that's 18. So 18, and this is the thing, I always forget the order of like the later cards. I can remember the order of the first major arcana, but the later ones I don't know. I always get them mixed up, so I have to check it actually. Major arcana number 18 is what? The moon, yeah. Okay, so we have the moon. So let's get the moon out from here. The moon. Does anyone here watch The Mighty Boosh? You know when he's the moon, like the pie face moon in the sky, and he says silly poems, and he's like, everybody look at the moon. So every time I see anything about the moon, I always have that in my head. Everybody look at the moon. Have I been talking and not paying attention and we've already gone past the card? No, here it is. Okay, the moon. Now, another thing with quintessence is that if you end up with a double digit number for the quintessence, we have 18. 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 18. Then you can get the further quintessence, like a secondary one, by then reducing this number to its base number. So that would be 9, which would be the hermit again. Interesting. Okay, let me see if I can find old Hermie again. Gosh, you're a popular man today, aren't you, old man? Everyone wants a bit of you. Where are you hiding now? Everybody look after me. He's going to be like the second last card, isn't he? Oh, here he is. Okay. So we have the Hermit and we have the Moon. So this is like our advice relating to all of the situations. So the Moon I always see as like being kind of about confusion, and like not being clear. Let me just get something up on my computer. Yeah, it's like, it's about illusion, intuition, fear. I always think of it as like being confused. But if you look at those two cards together, like obviously the Hermit is about internal reflection, and you can almost see the story here. It's like, if this is the father and he's holding this light kind of reminds me of the like sun here that's behind the Moon, and here's the path that he's like following. And so maybe it's just like, I think it's saying that like it's a normal thing for this to be a really confusing situation. It takes time, and it's very confusing to have your family change like this and suddenly be reduced. I mean, here we have the 3 again, you know, 2 kids and the father. It's very confusing, especially when you're like, maybe this even represents the mother. Like, I'm thinking of the star card, you know, the woman on the star, or the sun. I mean, obviously, like when that's the thing, like behind the Moon is the sun, and that's where the clarity comes in. So I would say that basically the advice here is that he just has to take it day by day. Like, of course it's going to be really confusing right now, and it just takes time. Like, you can't rush these things. You know, you can't just suddenly make everything feel happy and harmonious again. Everyone's really confused. Everyone is hurting. Everyone is brokenhearted because everything's different now. And you just have to, you know, do the inner work, be kind to yourself, you know, and reflect on the situation and just keep treading the path like one step at a time, you know. What's that thing, like each single step brings you to the top of the mountain? That's not the phrase at all, but you know what I mean. Like, basically I would say that he just has to take it day by day, and if he wants to manage the stress and find a harmonious balance in his new family, I would say that maybe conversation is important too, like, you know, doing internal work, maybe therapy, so that everyone can kind of navigate through this confusion. Like, maybe they need a guide. Maybe that's it. Maybe they need to have kind of like a shepherd almost. Like, it kind of makes me feel like this guy's like a shepherd and he can lead them through. Maybe a counselor can help. Or maybe an older person in the family, maybe a grandfather, like maybe the father's father, Peter's father, or another person who's close. Maybe they can give advice and be someone to like lean on and kind of guide him through these troubled times. Yeah, I don't know. And that's all I have to say about that. So let me know again in the comments if you agree with this, if you think that this was accurate in any way, if you would have interpreted it differently. I would love to know. Okay, so we're going to do the last practice reading. Okay, so, I better read out what it is first. Okay, so the last one, number 3 from ChatGPT, is Sophie. Sophie is a 25-year-old college student who is about to graduate with a degree in psychology. She's feeling uncertain about her future career prospects and is unsure of what path to pursue after graduation. Sophie wants insights into potential career opportunities that align with her interests, skills, and values, as well as guidance on how to navigate the transition from student to professional life. You know what? I kind of think that these ChatGPT prompts are maybe like not the best to use with a spread, and so that's an important lesson from this video as well. You obviously can't just use any spread with any card. Like, what am I saying? You can't use any spread with any question. You have to tailor the spread to the question, or, you know, these situations from ChatGPT, they all have like several different aspects to them. And so you have to break it down into like mini questions and, you know, maybe have like a position, a card for each question, that kind of thing. So you know what, I'm actually not going to do this last one from ChatGPT because I feel like maybe that's why these readings have not been so clear, because this spread is not really like suitable for the questions that ChatGPT gave us. They're like quite complicated ones, you know. So okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna think about myself. Okay, let's do one for me. Let's do a practice one for me. So obviously, like, I would like some knowledge, some insight into my current situation with making this YouTube video, because I've never done anything like this before and it's kind of scary to put yourself out there, and especially when you're like openly saying, I'm not an expert, I don't really know what I'm doing, you know, it's kind of scary. So yeah, I just like some insight into that. So I won't make it any more complicated than that. I would just like to know about me putting this video on YouTube. Oh, hey, look, I'm shuffling better. Don't jinx it. Ooh. Okay. So, current situation. Nope. We do it like this. Current situation, obstacle, likely outcome. Clarifier, clarifier, clarifier. Okay, so current situation. Oh, yes. Okay, so it's always also like, I find easier to read for yourself initially, at least, because obviously when I see the card, I can immediately relate it to my situation. But when you're reading for someone else, you don't know what's going on in that person's mind. And until you get more experience, it's kind of like difficult to know what it means. But like, I know, like, I mean, this is very clear because the Page of Cups to me represents someone who is like at the beginning of, you know, some kind of journey, and cups can be about creativity. So obviously I'm right now, this is the first ever YouTube video I've made like this. So I'm at the beginning of a creative journey. I'm Pisces, by the way, as well. So there's a little fish there. And obviously it's reversed. And so I interpret that as like internally, I have a lot of creative ideas, but I'm not really expressing them yet. I'm at the beginning of things. Yeah, that makes sense. And then this one, Six of Swords. I always see this as like wanting to escape from something. And that's true as well, like, because I do feel quite, like, you know, part of the reason that I want to do this is because I would love to keep practicing tarot so that I can be, maybe I could be a professional reader one day, and that could be my new career, because I'm like I'm quite burnt out with what I do for work at the moment. So maybe this is like talking about my internal desire to kind of like leave troubled waters behind and like kind of go on a new journey about something. Yeah, okay, we'll say that for now. Okay, obstacles. King of Wands and Seven of Wands. So 2 wands, so that's all about like fire, passion, you know. So the obstacle, King of Wands. I'm not sure about that, what that could mean for me. I don't usually get this card, like, you know when you have some cards that just pop up again and again for you? Like, this is not a card that comes up for me very often. So I haven't really delved into this one that deeply, so let me see. Oh yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. Natural born leader, vision, entrepreneur, honor. Yeah, I get it now. Okay, so he represents visions. He can represent visions. So like, I have a vision of, you know, what I want to do. I want to get really good at tarot. I want to be him, basically. I want to be like really like knowledgeable about this thing I'm passionate about. I want to be at the top. I want to be like secure in it. I want to be confident. I want to be the king. Not like the King of Tarot like the best, but I want to feel in myself that I have that knowledge, right? But the Seven of Wands, basically talking about like challenge, conflict, exhaustion, giving up. And this is something I've experienced before in the past, that I often have creative ideas. I'm the kind of person who starts a new creative project like every Saturday, and then I do it for like 10 minutes and then I get bored and I give up, or I get thrown off course, I give up on the challenge. And so yeah, this is the obstacle. Like I want to be this person, but my own self-doubt, my own like tendency to give up really easily, that's what's going to stop me. So the likely outcome, okay, so we have Queen of Cups reversed, and we have the Six of Pentacles also reversed. Okay, so let me think about this. So the likely outcome, okay, because this is the thing. In the past, whenever I've had creative ideas, I've always thought, like, when I've had a hobby, I've always thought, how can I turn this into money? I want to have a side hustle, like, and then it leads me to burning out and getting bored really quickly. So I think this is telling me that if you like basically don't focus on the money side, don't like try to beg people for money, like don't be like this, like don't expect that this is going to turn into money. If you do this for the right reasons, which is something I've been thinking about a lot, do it for the right reasons. Like do it because you want to have that internal like creativity. I want to come from a place of compassion. I want to learn more. I want to maybe help other people learn. I want to connect with my intuition more. So I think the likely outcome is that if I follow through with like this vision that I have, and I don't let myself give up, and if I approach it with the right intentions, not these intentions, then I think the outcome could be that I maybe become this queen, like becoming a more compassionate person, more creative person, caring person. The name of Bond, James Bond. Anyway, so that's what I think. Now, how about the quintessence? Oh, interesting. Well, there is no quintessence because the top three are court cards, and I said earlier that I wasn't going to do the quintessence for the court cards. So, what do we do in this situation? Well, that's a very good question. Maybe we could do the quintessence of these three cards, but then that's kind of like, I didn't do that for the previous ones. Does that matter? I don't know. Let's do it anyway, see what we get. So we have 6, 7, and 6. Oh, so 2 6s. Interesting. So 6 and 6, 12, plus 7, 19. 19 is the what? The star? Maybe? This is why I want to make these videos, because hopefully I'm going to get better at remembering. No, the sun. Ugh. Oh! Look at that! Did you see that? The sun! That was the one at the bottom. Oh, that's some... when something like that happens and you suddenly get a little shock and you're like, oh, okay, this is right. Like somehow it makes you think I'm not just making this up. Like it kind of gives you a feeling of like, oh, okay, this is for real. Okay, so we'll go with the sun then. So the sun, well, the likely outcome is, success, seems like. Like fun, success, fun. So if I approach this the right way, and no, this is supposed to be advice, remember? Okay, so let's think of it that way. So the advice is approach this as you want to have fun. You're doing this for fun. You're doing this because you want to learn. You're doing this because it's going to bring happiness to your life. It's going to be a positive thing for you. So if I can bring the sun energy to this mission of like making videos on YouTube, this is going to be the energy that's going to help me get here, if that makes sense. And then obviously we can further reduce this. So this is 19, so 9 plus 1 is 10. So the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. I do know that one. Wheel of Fortune is like, kind of like means like destiny. No, here it is. Yeah, so it's like karma, right? So I feel like this is a chance for me to kind of overcome the obstacles I've had in the past with, sorry, excuse me, with like giving up too easily. And so this is my chance to like turn it around, literally. So as long as I approach it with the right intentions, not because I want to make money or whatever, but I just want to learn, I want to have fun, then it's going to be quite an important like karmic moment for me. So that's really nice. And then we can reduce this even further to obviously 10. 1 plus 0, that's 1. And that is the Magician, right? So I told you, I know the earlier one's way better than the later ones. And the Magician is a card that like I get quite a lot. That does come up for me quite a lot. Let's see. That was so cool how the sun was like on the, just waiting there on the bottom. Oh my gosh, of course he's going to be like right near the top. There he is, the Magician. And I relate to this card a lot, like, you know, yeah, manifestation, like, it is what you make it. So that's the advice. This is a moment for you to take an idea, run with it with the right intentions, and make it a reality. And yeah, okay, that's all. So it's quite clear to me. So once again, let me know what you think. So it's quite a long video, so if you've stuck with me all the way through this whole thing, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you here with me, and I hope you found this useful. I always find it useful to watch other people doing readings and practicing, because you can learn a lot just from the way other people interpret cards and how they interact with the cards and stuff like that. So yeah, so let me know in the comments what you thought about these readings, if you had anything you would have interpreted differently, any additions you would have added. Let me know if you use ChatGPT in your tarot practice, and also let me know what kind of video you'd like me to make in the future, what kind of topics, if you'd like me to try another tarot spread, let me know down below. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Da-da-da!